Here we go.
Jamie, did you turn it?
Test 1, 2. We're good. We're amplifying. I'll speak loudly. I always speak loudly. Thank you for being here this morning, mid-morning. I'm very excited to make an announcement from the city of Seattle. I'm Bruce Harrell, the mayor of Seattle, and I'm excited to announce that today I will be appointing Anthony Paul, otherwise known as AP Diaz, as our next interim Seattle Parks and Recreation Superintendent. And the band says yes. I'll refer to Anthony Paul Diaz as AP because that is what he is affectionately known. I'll describe a little bit about his background, but probably more importantly why he is my selection. AP Diaz is currently the executive officer for the Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks and an assistant general manager overseeing all day-to-day operations of the department, including financial services, capital projects, special operations, recreation, maintenance, HR and risk reduction matters, governance and leadership matters, while assisting the general manager in all governance, legal support and policy matters related to the city's Parks Commission, the City Council, the City Attorney's Office, and the Mayor's offices, and the LA Park Foundation. Again, we've provided information on his incredibly impressive professional background and educational background and civic involvement. But what strikes me, I think, in a unique way is that AP understands at a bare minimum the approach to our parks is basics first, operational excellence first, and then bringing about, well, let me back up. And through that, we talk about maintenance and enhancement and improvements, but through that, doing what the Parks Department is known for, our Seattle Parks Department is known for, doing that with a certain level of excellence, and then thinking about which way we want to head in the future, given the challenges we have, the challenges with public safety, with education, with homelessness, with all of the other issues and components of our city. How do we integrate our park system that are rich in assets and has an incredibly gifted talent, and how do we put that and make it closer aligned with where we're heading as a city? We've said over and over, our goal around parks are to keep them open, clean, and accessible. But of course our priorities extend beyond that. We want them to be safe havens for everybody. We want them to be equity drivers, places for our youth to learn, to grow, and we want these assets to have the tools within them to create healthy communities and fight climate change. AP's leadership on recreational opportunities, including sports programs, shows that he understands how recreational opportunities can be learning opportunities and equity enhancers. And quite candidly, with the work he's done down in the California area and the Los Angeles area, that is exactly what the kinds of things we want to do here in Seattle. Drive equity. Now we have some amazing sports teams here, and I know that AP will even forge stronger partnerships that advance sports equity, and we know that public-private partnerships can extend way beyond funding, and so his leadership in this regard will be absolutely awesome. Now we're here at this particular facility that's one of my favorite places here at Yesler Terrace Park and the Community Center because it shows a great example of how we can connect all communities. The neighborhoods, the housing, our parks, transit, smart planning. I frequently talk about how I played basketball as a youth in these gyms, and I think I lead the gyms. I think I'm somewhere in the record books for the highest number of missed shots in one game. Wasn't exactly known for my basketball prowess, but this is an amazing facility and one that I hold dearly in my heart. I'm also proud to be joined by directors Greg Spots from SDOT, Justin Farrell from Office of Sustainability and Environment, and Marshall Foster with our Office of the Waterfront and Civic Projects. And what we've tried to develop is a team of climate champions who recognize our One Seattle approach to fighting climate change and building resilience. With AP's leadership, I am fully confident that we will continue to make Seattle parks, quite candidly, the envy of cities across the nation, indeed across the world. AP's a big thinker. He doesn't play small ball. He's looking at how we could use our city's incredible park system to indeed show our country what we can do when we integrate all of the components that I spoke about. I also want to thank Councilmember Andrew Lewis, who will speak after AP, for how he showed incredible leadership in getting the Parks District Cycle 2 passed. And let's give Councilmember Lewis a hand in that regard. 8-1 vote. 8-1 vote. I'm very proud of that because having served on the council, I know that wasn't an easy task. That we know our city loves our park systems. We know that they have a certain standard or demand for excellence that they want in their park system. And these resources that we're developing through that system, there are competing priorities. So Councilmember Lewis, once again, found a way to harness the opinions and the needs and come up with a great package. And so we're very thankful. We also know that our interest in reestablishing the park ranger program and to reopen bathrooms and for tree restoration and to have new parks and renovations and to really perfect on the basics. We know that people have different opinions. So once again, we want to thank Councilmember Lewis for his leadership. And I want to, of course, thank all of our partners and stakeholders who join us here today. Thank you to our incredible parks employees who are doing just amazing work every day. I'll leave this press conference to spend more time with the parks employees. You know, having been growing up with our park system, it's again just near and dear to me. I say that's one of the areas in the city where the magic happens. I'm joined with childhood friends that I hope don't talk about how bad I was as a youth. They signed non-disclosure agreements. But when I look at family and friends around me, they know how this park system changed our lives for the better. And last, but perhaps most importantly, I want to thank Christopher Williams for his incredible service to our people, our parks and city. I'm reminded of an old Beatles song, a Lennon-McCartney song. I'm not saying Chris is old, but I'm just reminded of this song that I get by with a little help from my friends. Chris has been a dear friend for so many years. Chris has stepped up when the city needs him. He's used his expertise, his commitment. Sometimes I feel like we're married because we say through good times and bad times and sickness and health, we get through it together. So I want to tell you, Chris is an incredible leader. He'll be around, of course, to help us continue the great work that this Parks Department is doing. And Chris, we can't thank you enough. Chris had a relationship to some extent with AP. They knew each other, and Chris knew we were looking for someone to be the permanent Parks Superintendent. And in the meantime, Chris didn't let down at all. Chris was never on cruise control. And Chris, for that, helping us through the budget work, helping us keep the bathrooms open now, doing all the work you're doing. Chris, thank you very much. And with that, I introduce to you AP Diaz, our new interim Seattle Parks and Recreation Superintendent. AP.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am delighted to be nominated to serve as the next superintendent for Seattle Parks and Recreation. I want to thank Mayor Harrell and Councilmember Lewis, Superintendent Williams, and all of the park's stakeholders, advocates, and city employees here who have welcomed me so graciously. The reception has been wide and deep, connective, and meaningful. I can see and hear that Seattleites love their parks, and I'm honored to stand here to work together in collaboration to accomplish great things. I want to also acknowledge and recognize our native ancestors which inhabited this area we all proudly call Washington and Seattle. Their history, our history, tells us that they lived here for thousands of years. The Suquamish, Duwamish, Nisqually, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoots evolved complex cultural, social, and economic structures and merit recognition, respect, and admiration as being our original caretakers and stewards of our lands we so enjoy today. I'm excited about this opportunity because I share the mayor's vision for our park system, special places that drive opportunities for respite, for health and wellness, for recreation and relaxation, mentorship and education, equity, climate action, urban design, and impact, just to name a few. More importantly, we're already here to get to work and illuminate the Seattle shine. That's a new phrase I'm coining, Mayor, as we reject the notion that this is a city of insulation. It is not. It is a city of progress, of openness, of innovation, and of light. It's a city of many cultures, people, backgrounds, and diversity. So let's illuminate brightly for all the world to see and spotlight our amazing park system as reflective microcosms of this great city we inhabit and serve. I've dedicated my entire life to public service, and seeing the status of parks during the pandemic as they became one of the few options for gathering spaces and vitality only reinforced my commitment to amplify our park system and the narrative of what parks are and what they are in the future. Here in Seattle, parks are open, safe, accessible spaces for everyone. I am people-focused and project-minded. I'm data-driven and thrive in performance management environments where I will help focus and lead our parks and recreation towards being transparent and accountable in our spending and programming and implement innovative metrics and outcomes for success. In Los Angeles, we manage big projects and deliver innovative approaches. In my time in the City of Angels, I have been blessed to have shepherded great civic projects, both big and small, but which all deliver impact. I've led a focused revitalization of our LA River, increased revenue and innovation through public-private partnerships, and readied the city and park sites to welcome the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. And I'm equally committed to making the world's eyes continue to be on us here, whether through our business, arts, culture, nature, trade, commerce, as we welcome international and national events in the years to come. I've also sat in the living room of real folks over coffee and conversation, listened when people said they felt unsafe, unsure, or uneasy about their parks, and worked hard to overcome those challenges and make meaningful impact. Community relations will be at the core of my vision and impact on this park system. I consider parks to be essential infrastructure like bridges, roads, and highways, precious areas of open space. As our public parks don't require memberships or special status, they are critical to the health and wellness of our citizenry. We have a duty and an obligation to grow children, cultivate adults, and sustain our aging population. So I will be leaning into our Parks Foundation, to ARC, and to all of our community partners ready for new, big, and innovative ideas, reaching out to our local business leaders, our visionaries, and everyday citizens to invest in us, to believe in us, to confide in us, to know that your investment will not be in vain, but will continue to grow and spotlight the Seattle shine. That's why this moment is so exciting and so crucial for the future of Seattle's parks, especially with Tuesday's passage of the Park District's next cycle. We are on track to make our mark, to make Seattle the pride of Washington, the nation, and the world. More locally, it's an opportunity to focus on maintenance and operations and significant capital improvements, focusing, as the mayor said, on the basics and renovating and restoring parks and community centers for decades to come, while making investments and honoring the Seattle taxpayers. We can use this time to stay stagnant or status quo, or we can innovate our facilities, making sure they are world-class and top-of-the-line, modern, that they serve and meet the individual needs of the community, equipped with smart technology, green infrastructure, aesthetically pleasing design, and places for invitation and gathering. I know our park staff is excited to embark on the latter, as am I. Seattle taxpayers have been amazing, some of the most supportive of park systems in the entire nation. My conversations with the mayor and with Councilmember Lewis have solidified my decision that I will be equipped for success in this city with their support and guidance, as they are equally passionate and excited for parks. All of us here today, behind and beside me, have a responsibility to live up to those mandates and to exceed your expectations in us. I am also inspired by Mayor Harrell's One Seattle agenda, recognizing the connections parks have to so many priorities in this city, whether it's public safety, climate, health, opportunity, and equity. Our constituents, our neighbors, we will be united as fellow humans navigating together as one Seattle, one team, one voice. By working across departments, we can really connect our government together. And I am proud to be joined by colleagues today from the City of Seattle as well as the community to join me in this vision. I know that stewardship of public land and recreational facilities can only be successful when we are connected in the communities we serve. For this reason, I plan to really be in the community, to listen, to hear, and to learn. Seattle's Park Superintendent will be an integral part of your community and will be inspirational and transformative in our approach to our work. I will like to advocate positive growth and cultivate the proliferation of park pride here in the city. And on that note, I'd like to recognize that this is Latino Heritage Month and give celebration for the diversity that exists around our nation and also in the city. At the end of the day, what my experience in government has taught me is that people don't care who is responsible for what. They hate finger-pointing in government. If issues arise that are not under our jurisdictions in the parks, we will not turn you away. We will implement a no wrong door policy, which means that even if something is not within our immediate span and control, we will make sure to connect you to the people in the city that can find those resources and be responsive to you, to create a Seattle that is blessed, evergreen, everlasting, ever emerald, and ever emerging. I want to thank Mayor Harrell for this amazing opportunity to serve and to lead. Thank you, sir, for your belief in me. Thank you, Councilmember Lewis, for being a Park District champion and for the support of your colleagues, who I will be working with closely in the days, months, and years ahead. I'd like to thank my amazing network at home, my family, Krista, Megan, and Max, who every day frame me in love and raise me up and envelop me with purpose. I love those people, and I love that I'm going to be joining a family here in this city. Friends, you will often hear me say that parks make life better. It's among my favorite sayings, and I firmly believe it to be true, and that the best is yet to come. Thank you so much for this honor.
Seattle shine! Seattle shine! I'll be using that for a little while. I love it. You know, it's very appropriate, I think, that Councilmember Lewis, based on what I said earlier, says a few words. We know that for the next month and a half or so, they're going to be going over the budget. So we want to be real nice to Councilmember Lewis for a while. But in all seriousness, he's doing an amazing job, and we know how much the park system means to him. It's very fitting that he's standing next to Rebecca Baer, the president of the Seattle Parks Foundation. He's going to take this kind of partnership, this kind of leadership to really take us to a level that hopefully has not been done before, to build on the excellence that we have. So I present to you Councilmember Andrew Lewis.
Thank you so much. It's a great privilege to be out here and follow the remarks from our nominee to lead the Parks Department, AP. You know, we just went through a very long process that everyone standing behind me was involved in renewing the cycle of investments for our Seattle Metropolitan Park District, the first renewal in the existence of that tool to make sure our parks are clean, safe, accessible, open, whatever value we want to attribute to our open spaces. We know there's a lot of work to do, and we know it's valued by the people of this city. And when I look behind me at the community that helped bring that together, our commissioners on the Board of Parks and Recreation Commission, who submitted their first recommendations in May, the steadfast leadership of Interim Superintendent Christopher Williams, who has been a great pleasure to work with in shaping not just that investment, but in providing oversight for the massive surge in maintenance that our parks and recreation teams have been doing over the last 6 months and the result that we have seen in our parks and open spaces. I remember what our parks and open spaces looked like in 2020. It wasn't pretty. The legacy that we inherited of our Olmsted Park system was being challenged, and our ability to maintain it was being questioned. But thanks to Superintendent Williams' leadership, that is not a question anymore. We could go to any of our parks and open spaces in the city of Seattle, and we can use them to the utmost, to the fullest enjoyment, and we're going to build on that work because we're not done. But Superintendent Williams, thank you. Thank you so much for your leadership in a very challenging year to restore our parks and open spaces. But for your work, we would not have been able to get an 8-1 vote on the council. Your work has given a vote of confidence to us to go forward. And that brings us forward to AP. It's been really great over the last couple of days to get to know AP because we have a very strong vested interest now that we've passed a robust investment package for our parks. Because until we are implementing that work, those are just dreams that are on paper. Before we can get an off-leash area, before we can get climate-conscious improvements in our community centers, before we can open all of our comfort stations to be used by members of the public, we need a leader that's going to be able to organize and implement that vision. And with AP, we have that nominee, and I'm excited to stand here to support his nomination to be the new superintendent of our Parks and Recreation system. We need someone who's capable of navigating the planning, the organizing, the environmental review process, all of the red tape that goes into getting something built in our community. The outreach that AP has emphasized is going to be one of the cornerstones of his vision for this office, and working with community, working with district council members who have things that they want to see in their districts to fully realize the vision of their residents and the neighborhoods of this city, where the parks are the focal point. The parks are the gathering space for so much of our quality of life in the city of Seattle. With AP, we have the person to take the funded mandate that is our renewal of the Metropolitan Park District, the mandate that we can build on in this budget process to put even more focus on restoring our parks and open spaces and making sure that they are the true gems of our community that they always have been for our quality of life in the city of Seattle. So with that, I look forward after the budget to duly considering AP's nomination in committee, and I hope for a swift and successful confirmation. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Lewis. Before we take a few questions, I'd love for Superintendent Christopher Williams to share a few words. Mr. Williams, please.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your kind remarks earlier. I've known the mayor for a long time. I've even had dinner at his house before. And I really appreciate his transformational leadership that he has brought to the city. And if you're in a job like the one I'm in and a lot of the people standing behind me, you really appreciate the opportunity to sink your teeth into something tangible that you can really, kind of grab a vision and move it forward. And the mayor has provided that. I want to take a minute and acknowledge that the work of Park and Recreation really involves a whole bunch of community partners. So we have Marlon Herrera and Jessica Farmer, our Board of Park and Recreation Commissioner co-chairs. We've got Rebecca Baer from the Park Foundation, Jackie Hillseth from ARC, and we have the Yesler Community Center staff here. Raise your hand, guys, from Yesler. They're a great team. We also have a set of comprehensive plan implementation partners from SDOT and the Office of the Waterfront, which is sort of a statement about kind of this One Seattle vision and how the great work of a great park system involves a whole bunch of partners in sort of this comprehensive plan approach. I want to thank the mayor for doing his due diligence and finding AP. AP sat down and met with our executive team here a few days ago, and there was an immediate spark and an immediate connection. And it was pretty obvious to everyone that he knows his work. He's going to bring a big vision, like the mayor said. And we're just excited to be embracing AP and to accompany him along as he walks around the community and gets to know people. So Mayor, thank you so much for your confidence in me during the time I was the interim superintendent, and look forward to continuing to serve the One Seattle vision. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christopher. Okay, we'll take a few questions. Are there any questions? I do remind you that when you do this kind of work, no questions are great. But if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain any. Yes.
Good morning, Mayor. My name is Roxana. My question for you is, I guess, for the community as well. What's your solution for the homeless who are living in these parks?
So the question, just for those who didn't hear, what are my solution for the homeless who are living in our parks? The answer is fairly simple: housing. And not only just housing in terms of a roof or heat or water, but supportive housing. We know that the road to homelessness is different for many. Some may have breakdowns in their family system, some may have drug addiction or other illnesses that may prevent them from being where they want to be in their life. So we are working with the county, working with the Regional Homelessness Authority, working directly with grassroots organizations to house those living in our parks, because we do not want our park system to be de facto housing. We want them, as I said during my budget speech, we want them to have clean water. We want them to live in habitable conditions. So under our One Seattle vision, we don't leave anyone around in the cold. We house them. And so our work dealing with those who are experiencing homelessness will be even urgent, and quite candidly, AP understands that. When AP and I had many discussions about all of the issues in the city, not just our parks and recreation facilities, all of the issues: income inequality, racism, education, homelessness. I need to know your views. I want to understand how you see these things, and in those discussions culminated in me asking him to be part of our One Seattle vision. Thank you for the question. Are there any other questions? 3, 2, 1. For One Seattle. Thank you very much.